7 signs you're attracting both angels and demons without trying. Have you ever walked into a room and felt something shift? Like the air got heavier or lighter, or the silence felt pregnant with meaning? Maybe you've had a dream so vivid, so charged with emotion, that it lingered long after you woke up, as if someone or something had been with you. These are not mere coincidences. These are echoes, signs, markers of something deeper happening in your life. What if I told you that without even realizing it, you may be attracting both angels and demons into your world, simply by the frequency you embody? This isn't about religion, though it touches the sacred. This isn't superstition, though it dances with the unseen. This is about your energy, your essence vibrating at such a potent level that it becomes a beacon in the spiritual realm. And whether you know it or not, the spiritual realm is always watching. Not in a creepy way, but in a way that's intensely aware. Just like a light in the dark attracts moths and fireflies alike, your spiritual light, your consciousness, can draw both beings of divine guidance and forces of chaos. It's not about good or evil in a cartoonish sense. It's about energy alignment, intention, awareness, and your soul's awakening. Now, some people live their entire lives in spiritual numbness. They walk through the world asleep, distracted, consumed by the noise of the material. For them, the spiritual realm remains quiet because they never knock on its door. But then there are people like you. People who feel more, who notice more, who ask deeper questions. And sometimes they don't even know why. They just sense that something is different. They've always felt a little apart. Like they don't fully belong in this world because their soul remembers another.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Let me ask you something penetrating. When was the last time you were truly alone in silence and felt like something or someone was with you? Not in the physical sense, but in the present sense. Did it scare you? Did it comfort you? Or both? That's the paradox of spiritual awakening. It opens the doors to both heaven and the underworld. And if you're not grounded, if you're not prepared, it can feel overwhelming. One of the first signs that you're attracting both angels and demons is an increase in synchronicities and disturbances. You start seeing repeating numbers, hearing the same song in different places, meeting people who seem to speak directly to your soul. But at the same time, you also encounter resistance, things breaking down, sudden anxiety, unexplained fear, or people in your life turning against you for no reason. This duality is not accidental. It's the push and pull of light and shadow responding to your frequency. The angels come to guide. The demons come to test. Both are necessary. Both are reflections. You see, angels are not just winged beings playing harps in clouds. True angelic energy is fierce, radiant, grounding, and loving beyond comprehension. When they enter your life, they bring clarity, often through disruption. They remove what no longer serves you. They whisper truths you've been avoiding. They push you toward alignment, even when it hurts. And demons? They are not always horned monsters. Sometimes they show up as addictions, toxic thoughts, people who drain you, or patterns that keep repeating. They challenge you where you are weakest, because their role is not just to destroy, it's to expose. They force your shadows into the light. So when you start attracting both, it means your soul is on fire. It means you're growing. It means your energy is becoming unignorable. And for many, this starts without warning. It begins with a restlessness, a feeling that the life you were living is no longer enough, that the conversations you once enjoyed now feel shallow, that your dreams are trying to tell you something. You begin to crave solitude, depth, meaning, and even though part of you resists, another part leans in. That's your soul remembering who it is. But with this awakening comes a cost. The spiritual path is not always peaceful. It's not always filled with light. Often, it requires you to face the very things you've buried. And when you do, you send out a signal, a frequency, a vibration. And just like a frequency can attract a radio station, your spiritual frequency starts attracting entities, some to help, some to hinder, all to teach. Here's another essential sign: your dreams become vivid, symbolic, and often intense. You may find yourself being chased, flying, drowning, or encountering beings that leave a lasting impression. Some of these are manifestations of your subconscious, but others, they are visitations. The spiritual realm often speaks through dreams because that's when your defenses are down. Your conscious mind is asleep, but your soul is awake. Pay attention. Keep a dream journal. Repeating symbols, animals, numbers, and feelings are all codes waiting to be unpacked. Another sign is the shift in your relationships. When you begin attracting both angels and demons, the people around you begin to be revealed for who they truly are. Some will rise with you. Others will resist you. You may notice sudden betrayals or unexpected support from strangers. This is because your energy is stirring the spirit in others. And in the presence of your awakening, some will be inspired while others will be triggered. That's not your fault. That's your light doing its job. And here's the deeper truth: darkness is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Without the night, we would never know the stars. Without the demons, we would never understand our strength. Without struggle, there is no evolution. So when the energies of both light and dark begin to swirl around you, do not panic. Do not run. Sit still. Breathe. Ask, what are you here to show me? You see, the most powerful spiritual warriors are not those who avoid darkness, but those who learn to walk through it without losing their light. And that's who you are becoming. Whether you know it or not, your soul has been calling out for truth, for purpose, for alignment. And that call has been heard. In higher realms and lower ones alike, you have entered the arena. Let me ask you something even deeper now. If you knew that your pain was the doorway to your power, would you still run from it? Or would you walk straight into it, knowing that angels walk beside you and demons fall beneath your feet? This is not just a video. This is a mirror, a reflection of the journey you're already on. You're not here by accident. You didn't press play by chance. Something in you is awakening. And now, the spiritual realm is responding. When light and darkness both knock on your door, there comes a moment in every awakened soul's journey when the veil between the seen and unseen becomes paper thin. It doesn't happen with thunder and lightning. It happens slowly, until suddenly you realize you're living in two worlds at once. You're brushing your teeth, but you feel watched. You're walking through the grocery store, and that old man who smiled at you, was it just a smile or something more? You feel it in your bones. Something is shifting, and it's not just in you, it's around you. When light and darkness both knock on your door, you must stop pretending this is just imagination. This is the point where neutrality dies. You are being called. But here's the catch: both angels and demons respond to the frequency of your soul. Not because they want to claim you in some Hollywood fantasy of good vs evil, but because your energy is becoming powerful enough to ripple across dimensions. You are no longer asleep. You are no longer hidden. And that makes you visible to everything. It's a strange phenomenon, isn't it? That when you begin healing, you suddenly become more attacked. When you begin praying, meditating, or seeking truth, chaos seems to erupt. The people you thought would support you fall away. Your body begins to break down. Your mind becomes filled with doubts. Why? Because healing is not a calm river. It's a storm that tears away the false layers built by years of survival. And as those layers fall away, what's left is raw, radiant, real. And both angels and demons are drawn to that rawness, one to protect it, the other to exploit it. But understand this, they only come because you're doing something right. Angels are not comforters of the comfortable. They are warriors of precision, protectors of purpose. When they enter your life, they don't always bring peace. Sometimes they bring the sword. They cut away what no longer aligns. They end relationships. They close doors. They stir your soul with restless hunger until you can no longer pretend to be who you're not. That's how divine fire works. It burns, but it purifies. Demons, on the other hand, are opportunists. They feed on unresolved pain, on lies you believe, on the parts of you still disconnected from truth. They whisper when you're tired. They echo your fears. They love confusion, addiction, self-sabotage. But here's the twist: they are not invincible. They only exist where you do not know yourself. When you awaken to who you really are, they lose ground. Because light doesn't fight darkness, it simply shows up, and the darkness disappears. So when both light and darkness start showing up in your life, it's not a punishment. It's confirmation you've become spiritually magnetic. Your soul is gaining weight in the unseen realms. And the question now becomes, what will you do with that power? Will you fear the night, or will you learn to see in the dark? Will you hide from your shadows, or will you dance with them until they become your allies? Because make no mistake, the ones who walk closest to the divine often attract the most resistance, not because they're weak, but because they're about to become dangerous to everything that profits from their silence. This is your sacred moment. The knocking is getting louder. Light is calling you to rise. Darkness is daring you to fall. But the choice is yours. Who will you let in? The hidden war for your energy. What most people never realize is that your energy is not neutral, it's currency. It's nourishment. It's a living, breathing force that feeds and fuels both the light and the dark depending on where it flows. Every thought you think, every emotion you hold, every word you speak, these are not just internal processes. They are offerings. They are invitations. They are either shields or open doors. And once your energy begins to radiate with greater intensity, you become a spiritual hotspot, a battlefield, a lighthouse, and a target. There is a hidden war for your energy, and it doesn't begin in some far-off mystical realm. It begins inside your own mind. The whispers you hear late at night, the self-doubt that creeps in when you're on the edge of transformation, the inexplicable tiredness that follows a major spiritual breakthrough. These are not just psychological. They are energetic. You are a soul in motion, and that movement sends waves into realms you can't see. Beings of light move toward that signal to assist. Beings of shadow move toward it to distract. Both are watching. Both are waiting. But only one can win, and that depends entirely on you. Let me ask you something uncomfortable but necessary. When you wake up drained, do you ever stop to ask, who or what fed on my energy last night? Most people don't. They simply caffeinate, scroll, and carry on. But the awakened one, the one who's becoming spiritually aware, must start asking better questions. Because energy doesn't just vanish. It moves. It transfers. And if you're not consciously directing it, someone or something will happily do it for you. Spiritual warfare is subtle. It rarely looks like horror movies or demonic possession. It looks like procrastination. It looks like sudden anger at someone you love. It looks like giving your attention to the wrong people, the wrong narratives, the wrong desires. It looks like feeling numb when you used to feel alive. That's how the dark works. It doesn't always knock down doors. Sometimes it just distracts you until you forget who you are. But angels, they work differently. They don't manipulate your energy, they amplify it. They speak in signs, in synchronicities, in moments of peace that defy all logic. Their guidance is subtle but unmistakable. You'll know it by the fruit it bears. Angelic presence brings clarity, even in confusion. It brings calm, even in chaos. It reminds you of your true nature, not through fear, but through remembrance. And so, when both forces are circling around your life, it's time to become a guardian of your own energy. You must learn to protect your frequency like a sacred flame. This means learning to say no not just to people, but to thoughts, to environments, to digital noise. It means cleansing your space, not just with sage, but with intention, with prayer, with focus. It means understanding that every moment you choose love over fear, presence over distraction, truth over comfort, you're feeding the light. You're strengthening the signal. And that's what demons fear the most, not churches, not rituals, not even exorcisms, but a human being who knows who they truly are. A human who realizes their energy is divine, infinite, unstealable. That's when the game changes. That's when angels don't just visit, they stay. That's when you stop being a victim of spiritual forces and become a vessel of divine power. So the war for your energy is real, but you are not powerless. In fact, you are the battlefield, the warrior, and the weapon all in one. And once you understand that, you'll see the signs for what they are, not something to fear, but something to master. Becoming the bridge between worlds. There comes a point in your journey when you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin asking, what is this trying to teach me? That shift, subtle but immense, is the moment you begin to reclaim your power. It's the moment when you stop being a passive participant in the spiritual realm and start becoming a conscious bridge between worlds. Because that's who you truly are, a soul having a human experience, a divine being cloaked in flesh, a link between light and dark, heaven and earth, seen and unseen. When you attract both angels and demons, you are not cursed. You are chosen. Chosen to wake up. Chosen to remember. Chosen to walk the razor's edge between shadow and light with your eyes wide open. And that's not easy. It's raw. It's intense. It requires the death of every illusion you've ever clung to. But it also births something magnificent: authenticity. And from that authenticity emerges a frequency so pure, so untouchable, that both angels and demons recognize it instantly. The angels bow, the demons retreat, not because you've become perfect, but because you've become real. Let me ask you something that might shake the very foundation of your beliefs. What if everything you feared, every dark night, every whisper in the shadows, every doubt in your heart was actually sent to reveal your unbreakable light? What if the demons weren't here to destroy you but to forge you? What if the angels didn't come to save you, but to activate you? You are not here to escape the world. You are here to transform it. But to do that, you must first let the world transform you. You must allow yourself to be stripped of false identities, burned by the fire of truth, and humbled by the cosmic dance of duality. Only then can you carry the kind of energy that heals rooms when you enter them, that shifts timelines by your presence alone. This is spiritual maturity, not running from darkness, but walking into it with light so strong it can't help but bend. You see, the signs have always been around you. You just didn't always know how to read them. The chills that run down your spine when you're about to make a decision. The sudden fatigue when you're in a toxic environment. The way time bends when you're in alignment. These are not coincidences. They are messages, confirmations, warnings. The more you listen, the clearer they become. The more you honor them, the more the universe responds. At this point in your awakening, it's no longer about avoiding the presence of angels or demons. It's about becoming so aligned, so rooted in truth, that your energy becomes unmistakable. You stop attracting chaos because you stop vibrating at its level. You stop fearing darkness because you've made peace with your own. You stop seeking validation from the outside because you've become intimate with the divine within. And here's something most people won't tell you. Angels don't always come with wings, and demons don't always come with horns. Sometimes, an angel is the stranger who says the exact thing your soul needed to hear. Sometimes, a demon is the inner voice that tells you you're not enough. Discernment is your superpower. Energy doesn't lie. Feel everything. Trust the resonance. If something drains you, it's not for you. If something expands you, follow it. So where does this leave you now? Right at the center of your own sacred awakening. You are not just attracting forces, you are becoming one. You are no longer the seeker. You are the source. And your path is no longer about choosing between light and dark, but integrating both and rising above them. You are the storm and the stillness, the question and the answer. You are the bridge. The signs are not outside you anymore. They are you.